Earlier this morning, Buffalo Sabres, they officially introduced the 10th general manager in team history, Jarmo Kekalainen. He did speak with the media for about 25 minutes, and while no other changes have officially been made, Kekalainen did mention everything within the organization will be looked at.
We're going to evaluate everything moving forward, whether it's the scouting staff, management, coaches. Everybody is under evaluation at this point, but there are a lot of good people here that are great at their jobs.
After the staff, one of the other primary issues that is going to have to be dealt with early is the contract situation regarding Alex Tuch, and Kekalainen did speak on where he and the team sit on that front.
Alex is a really good hockey player. We appreciate him. We like him. We want to get him signed. I think that's been clear the whole time. Now we just have to agree on a number that works for both sides.
You can hear all of Jarmo Kekalainen's comments with the media from earlier today at our website, WGR550.com, or on the Odyssey app. And we'll also get more on what was said this morning when Paul Hamilton joins the show in just about a half hour at 3:30. Following the loss last night, Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel would not shut down the idea of a QB change, saying everything is on the table, and the Rams would not rule out wide receiver Davante Adams for Thursday night after he picked up a hamstring injury on Sunday. This holiday season, we're kicking off Mission Give Where You Live to benefit a Buffalo City mission powered by NYSAG. Now through December 19th, you can donate brand new sweatshirts, sweatpants, hats, gloves, scarves, and non-perishable food items to help keep our community warm and fed. Just stop by any Dash Market location and drop your donation in the Mission Give Where You Live donation bin. If you want to donate online, you can also give through the Buffalo City Mission Amazon wish list. This is sponsored by the Barnes Firm and Dash Market. You can get all your details at WGR550.com. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
If you wrap foil around that, just like the little bit of the base part of the banana where the fruit is, wrap foil around that top and they will last longer.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Who needs your bananas to last longer, though?
Look, I don't want to go to the store every other day for bananas.
They're 8 cents each.
What the hell are you talking about? What is going on?
You're going to wrap them in foil?
They're better when they're just a little green. Yeah.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Too much work.
Not that much trouble, really.
Too much work.
Says the guy that's got a spreadsheet with 3,000 fantasy teams.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Hello. That's how I talk to my dog, Margot, by the way, when I get home every night. Because she runs to the door. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as I crack it open, she's ready to jump up. She only gets up to like my knee, by the way. She's not super big. But I'm like, hello. Is that a George Costanza's dad? Hello? What is that? Hello?
I don't really. It's probably a combination of influences from over
At this point, you would think, yes.
It's hard to really pick one out.
It so is.
Probably is what that is.
Yes. Yeah. Well, listen, let's just get this in here. It has been 3 long, some would say, I'm sure, torturous weeks without the reverse AFC power rankings. And you're still going to have to wait because we're going to lead with hockey.
The wait will continue. Yes.
Just getting that out there.
It was a
now.
Hotly debated subject in here. Not really.
Well, it was, no, but we disagreed on it.
That qualifies as hotly debated for us.
It does, I think. So the pressure's on you.
Oh, I guess so, right?
To deliver on
I just thought it'd be a little weird to start with reverse AFC power rankings when the Sabres named a new GM, ending what has been a 5.5-year nightmare. It's been a horrible situation.
The question is whether anything has actually ended, I would say. Yesterday on the way out the door, we talked about this too. I'm like, I don't think I want to do power rankings at 3 with this press conference. But in my mind, I was thinking like, well, let's see how interesting it is. And
I guess
the owner just came and went.
Right. Well, that's not at all surprising.
No, but it's not good either.
No.
Like, why shouldn't he have to explain anything ever?
But I like Kekalainen rather a lot, which I guess is why I'm the one who said let's talk about the Sabres to start.
Fine, and I've got no problem, but just need to see it work. I need to see.
Sure. Yeah.
Like he's not peak. Who do you want? Like he's not somebody that has won. Bowman is the last we decided yesterday. Scotty Bowman,
Right.
who is still with us in 1980, is the last time, almost the only time, the Sabres have ever hired anybody to run their hockey department that had any experience doing it.
Right.
So, I mean, this guy isn't Scotty Bowman. No offense.
No, he's not. No, you're not. You're not getting. You're not. Who are you getting?
Well,
you know what I mean. Like they were able to get this guy into the boat last year in the spring to be senior advisor. I think that was officially what the title was, to general manager Kevin Adams, and I thought that was a great job then. What I didn't know is whether he was just sort of victory lapping his career at this point. Yeah, I'll help you. Can I do it from home? I just wasn't sure what we were getting there. And come to learn, I mean, Paul said yesterday to us he's seen him around a lot more than he thought he would. Kekalainen himself today said he was here most of the fall. I know he's been on the road with the AHL team as recently as 2 weekends ago. So I think he's been more hands-on than I maybe was, pessimistically expecting when they announced him as an addition to the front office. I think they were seeking some credibility when they did it. I just didn't know exactly what they would get.
Okay, so how much credibility is it? 1 to 10. Who is this guy? Like, is he somebody that...
It's a 10 compared to Kevin Adams.
That's not where I want my line to be.
Well, that's too bad. That is where your line is. I had Kevin Adams, and now I have this guy. And this is a way more credible idea than that. In league circles, it's maybe a 5. Like, I don't know what would be a big high score.
That's where I want to hang out, is in actual league circles and not just like Buffalo Sabre circles.
Right.
So
okay.
I want to have I want to have leadership that, like, isn't this what we always, in the back of our minds, if not in the front, complain about with them? Is like, what's the point about whether your GM has ever been a GM before? What is the point of that? It's that, like, I'm somebody that hates the idea of retreads. I'm with Travis Yost when he makes fun of the fact that only 40 people can have these 30 jobs. And if you get fired from it, like, you're out automatically in the front of the line for the next one. I'm with that. Like, those are my sensibilities when it comes to this. Mm-hmm. But the Sabres years ago, I said and thought, got to a place where it was so far gone that it felt right to abandon that. And we don't need, who's the guy from BU? Quinn? Who was the coach? Like, he was Eichel's coach.
Sure, yeah.
And, like, here's somebody that might be kind of a cool idea to be the Sabres coach. At the time, well, he'd never been an NHL coach. I didn't mind. Like, that's somebody that sort of off the grid, if you will. And I had to abandon that because there was so little credibility in it, I thought. This is your Adams point, or even some of their recent coaches. Even Ruff, you could actually make an argument for at his stage of his career. That, like, maybe I just need to reset.
Not wanting the retread route and the familiar route is how you end up with Ralph Kruger, which that idea appealed to, I think, both of us for a lot of those reasons. And that did not really pan out at all, obviously.
Well, why? So, because of his incompetence?
I think in part, yeah.
In part.
But the organization around him, I think, was still, I mean, were they more credible under Jason Botterill? I don't really know.
Than now?
I don't really need to. Than now? I don't know. I'm not sure how to position this. I just know I feel like where the Sabres have been these last 5.5 years, it would have been hard to pull a better, more qualified fish into the boat than Jarmo Kekalainen.
Okay. Well, I don't want to disagree with that.
So I just don't. Is he the most accomplished GM? Has he ever won a Stanley Cup? No.
He made the second round once?
Right.
In 11 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
So where I'm coming from, I feel like that is a vast improvement on what they've had. So I want to give that at least some chance. I liked a lot of what he had to say today. Mostly it was that he's talking about having autonomy, and we'll see if that actually turns into something tangible.
They all say that every time. Everybody says that every time. Does it mean he's being disingenuous? Not necessarily. But who was the last Bills, Sabres, anybody's leader guy that didn't tell you they were going to be able to do whatever they wanted? They always say that. Which you want that, right? Like, you want that to be true. The Tuck idea, again this morning, Paul's on. He's like, what's the first thing that Alex Tuck? It is not the first thing they have to do. Alex Tuck is a future investment. He is, if he says no, then they trade him, and that's that. Is it a disaster if they don't sign him, like Paul keeps saying? Not to me, because he's old. And so if you have to restart, rebuild, whatever you want to call it, you have to do that again, then maybe you do. You're not in total control of that. Your players and your owner have some, reign over that. But you want your GM, everybody wants their GM in all situations to be in full control over all the decisions. And they all say what did Kevin Adams say to that question every single time?
He talks to Terry every day.
He talks to Terry, and this guy will too, but he's Yarmo, can we just go first name? Yarmo is not going to say, I don't really care. I don't need to know what the owner thinks. He's never going to say that. I don't know.
I felt like he said more than just that. I mean, he will ask questions. I will talk to him, but I feel like he doubled down. Whether Adams said it or not, it was harder to believe coming from him given the circumstances of his arrival at the job.
Okay, I think that is TBD. Harder to believe than this. That is up to you to decide. Up to all of us to decide whether that's actually true.
I never bought it from Adams,
but from Kekalainen.
Right.
Isn't that still to be determined whether?
Well, of course. Yeah, it's the first, it's the first day on the job. So I don't know. You can pick at that all you want. We won't know for a while here, but I thought he was pretty forceful, almost like, he maybe even gestured like he'll be over there. And I don't know. I liked hearing that, and I liked hearing I can spend to the cap, which is something that's been a foreign concept around here. And he said that, and so I appreciate that.
Again, that's one that you need to see to be, you need to see it.
But it's
right?
been right. But short of,
did Adams ever say he wasn't allowed to?
He never directly answered the question. It was almost always, we've got all the resources we need.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't feel like I've heard we'll spend to the cap in 5 years.
Well, they haven't done it.
Exactly. So, and I don't know, I always kind of thought, like last year, the money they saved by dumping Skinner that they didn't spend, that everybody made jokes about, by the time, I don't know if there was a good way to spend that money. To me, I wouldn't have wanted the GM of the team just to go spend the money so they could be at the cap. And you can say, see, we're at the cap. You got to add guys that are actually going to help you and not just spend the money. And, I thought circumstantially a little bit in Adams' defense, there maybe wasn't a great idea for that money by the time they got around to trying to spend it. They can't attract the right guys, all that stuff. So what's gone here is the specter of Adams sounding like that.
That's right.
To the team. That's the most important thing to me. The fans, look, you can be as skeptical as you want. Before I heard Kekalainen today, last night at the end of our show, I was not excited about this. I just felt like they let another season get away from them. And, we'll see. There's games left. Maybe they will make a season of it before it ends. But getting a guy out of here that represented, I think, the punchline to jokes about the organization was important if you want to restore any kind of credibility within your dressing room and with your standing within the league. That had to happen. The minute Adams said the thing about the palm trees and the taxes, to me, you never, in a position like that, utter something like that into a microphone where people are recording you, where your players are going to hear you talking like that, because they suddenly, maybe, should I exaggerate? I'm in hot take territory. They're suddenly maybe feeling like hostages. I'm already here. Nobody else wants to come here. I can't attract people to help you. Good thing I got you under contract. Like, that's what that sounded like. It was never about whether it was actually genuinely true on some level, which, of course, I think it is.
Yep.
It's not an easy place to attract guys. You just don't say it. Forget about the message it sends to all the players in the league. Think about the guys in the room that are supposed to be out there bleeding for the crest and all that stuff. It was just horrible. So they're free of that, which to me is not insignificant. So what he does with this now, how he prioritizes Tuck, if they get that done, if they don't, I think there's a good argument to not do it, but I'm in favor of doing it simply to signify we are different now. We are going to play the game the way teams play the game. And this guy matters to us right now. We know 8 years. I'm not going to say this in a press release. Hopefully not in the font that they released this information about today in.
Give me the first one.
Yeah, yes, right. That looks like a press box menu. It looked like a press box menu.
Well, even though it was still flush center.
What are we doing? Anyway.
It was medieval times font.
I think this team needs to know they're really in it. And signing Tuck, I think, is important for that. Will it burn at some point? Yes. I think almost without question. But teams do that all the time in this league. They have the resources to do it. The cap is going up and up and up. So you want to be committed? Sign him. I mean, this thing will get off, I think, to a pretty rocky start if his first big move is trading Alex Tuck.
Unless it's like, unless it's hot, unless it's, if a lot of, maybe you speak for a lot of fans today. I don't know. I think I do too. Like, okay, somebody else. We've been down this road a few times. I think, you have fans who are going to be moved by this and some who are not going to want to look at it until it leads to something. Again, like Columbus did what? So there are a lot of things to say here. Like why wasn't he just given the job in the first place? Why, if the whole thing with Pegula is always like, I don't want to waste money anymore on guys who aren't working here. Like, why would you A, bring in this guy in the spring and then B, extend Adams? Like, that's just ridiculous. He had no interest in questions today. Like, there wouldn't have been a lot of them for the owner of the team. Like, I'm just here to tell you who this guy is and then leave. Just like that's not. Maybe not germane to all the conversation we're having, but still, like, really? That's the best you got? Doesn't exactly sit well to know that this owner, after all these record-setting losing, just can't even kind of, like, defend anything that's happened publicly. Just, hi, bye. That's not really where we were at in the conversation.
I think the less he says, the better.
I know, but that's not good.
I know that's not good. But in the end, I got to choose, do I have this man talk and make this worse, maybe, by saying something, who knows? I mean, I don't want him answering questions. That's not a good way to live. Like, your owner you should trust him to do that, but I frankly don't.
Okay. I don't know if I want him answering questions, but I want him getting questions.
Yeah, I understand.
That seems completely fair and reasonable, but that doesn't have to happen, I guess, because that's up to them. Or him. I mean, Tuck is good. Nobody, even maybe Paul, who calls it a disaster every single time, the idea of Tuck being traded, will deny that this is probably going to haunt you eventually. But that's okay because that's how, it has to be. And if this guy's really good, 32 teams now, more than ever. As many as ever in the NHL. If this guy's really good and he has all this credibility, you could have too much maybe. I'm a little bit afraid to deal with this guy because he's that sort of sharp. I'm not sure this is where we're at. If he's that good, he might be able to make a trade that doesn't upset the fan base. I mean, again, Paul is like this morning, Jeremy pushed back. He's like, why is it a disaster if they trade Tuck? He's like, because the fans love him. The fans don't love any of this. You got Thompson, Dahlin is elite. You've got guys on this team that are super good. And I don't know, is it that important that any of them be here for the foreseeable? Is anybody betrothed to the idea that one of these players is here when they eventually make the playoffs or something like that? If he goes, he goes.
I think the thing that, well, Paul will be on in 10 minutes here to explain himself for himself, but I think the fear is that there's a domino effect.
Yes,
I don't retain Tuck. I'm trading you because I don't want to pay the market rate. And again, I respect the reasons that you would want to not do that. But given where they are, the last thing Jarmo Kekalainen needs walking in the door, unless fans really want this, is Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin raising their hand when the summer gets you like, yeah, you know what, I'm done. We got a good. I don't care how old Alex Tuck is. He's my line mate. He's from here. He said repeatedly he wants to be here, and I don't know. I doubt that they are being unrealistic about what they're asking for in the marketplace. It's possible that they are. We don't ever get to know. They might feel like they're in such a position where they have all of the leverage that they can just ask for whatever they want. And if the Sabres don't pay it, they're going to look bad. And I don't want to deal with that. But I think something in the market rate, what Kempe signed for in LA, like that's what I got to do.
I do like that everything about today sounded like they want to try this year, because that's in order. I think we're not at a point where we're already talking about. This isn't like when Ruff was fired, before. And it's Ron Ralston, and it's Suffering. It's any of this. We're still early enough in this, and it's still close enough, I think. I mean, Paul has said they have to win 10 games in a row to be alive. I do not agree. It's still early enough in this, and the timing of this is such that I think, I didn't want to hear that we have to, step back and start to think about draft picks and, who's in the pipeline, these kinds of things. Not just because we've all heard so much of that for so long, but because of the standings and the quality of the team. Like, they've improved in some areas, and they only have 2 healthy goalies at the moment. Like, he did say he wanted to be done with that.
Yeah.
I think what will maybe show in the next while here is how Kekalainen's vision, I'm not ready to go first name. We have to meet once, at least, many times. I've never called Josh Allen Josh once either, so, this is just me. I think what will maybe show up is if he is able to push different buttons with this team than Adams could. There might have been lots of things that I just want to say might have been, because it was so, for so long that this is probably not that many times. But there might have been things Adams wanted to execute that he couldn't because of what he was told, or he has a boss, if it's all just, he was just too afraid to do anything. I don't know. That seems too easy. So if this guy walks in the door, whether it's signing Alex Tuck or trading Alex Tuck or doing 5 other things, why can't you just do lots of things if you're so inclined? If he walks in and shakes it up, changes the coach, that was not taken off the table today.
No.
If he does that, then I could get aroused. I could get into this.
Yeah.
But it has to happen first. Until it does, he's a guy that they had already, that was in the market for a job, that didn't really have that much success when he had this job with another team, that's only possibly an upgrade because the Sabres never do anything this, quote, bold. I just need more. That's all it is. It's the first day.
No, he did. Yeah, in the they don't hang banners. Well, I don't know, maybe they do. For 5 playoff appearances in 11 seasons.
No, they do not.
We're working on 14, going on 15 here, and so a lot of guys that have been here have failed to even come close to that.
I know, but
that's why this still nothing. This is an upgrade from that.
Jerry Meehan does not have his a banner.
One other thing, real quick, we're
him.
going to have to break and get to Paul here, but he also did not he was asked at least one time specifically about what he likes here, like what the roster, and he did not name any names. There's a lot of good players here. We've got a good core here, and that was it. It was very general, which to me, I'm guessing is calculated. He's new here. I'm not telling anyone you're preordained to be here for ever and ever, or even for the next 4 months.
I wouldn't dare do that to anybody on this roster.
So
I wouldn't punish you like that.
I don't feel like that was a warning shot, but it also was, it would have been pretty easy to talk about Dahlin and Thompson and whomever else you want, to Samuelson maybe, and he just didn't want to do it.
Good point.
I don't think that was an oversight.
Good point. One's your captain, and he talked a lot about character. Mm-hmm. The other is a guy they can't figure out what position he should play, even though he scores 40 goals every year. All right. I mean, I'm open to anything. You shouldn't ever not be with this franchise, including, might I say, success. You shouldn't be closed to that. It's possible. It happens. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. We have Paul Hamilton next. Ross Tucker at 4. We'll get into the Bills then, if not sooner. This is WGR.
in.
Oh, Cervatic and Hamilton going to each other and Sawinski. Fight into it.
We have to fight.
With Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Snodcheck was just totaled by an Iowa State player against the board.
I think it was by Hamilton.
On WGR.
Really a pretty unnecessary hit by Hamilton. Hamilton is still awfully mad. He's being held back.
Number 17, Paul Hamilton. 2 minutes for charging, 5 minutes for fighting, and the misconduct.
Sports Radio 550.
I have to say it, because every once in a while I think of it when I hear that clip. Imagine an announcer sorry, Paul, 40-plus years later, describing a hockey situation where the player needs to be held back and sounding like that, saying it. You got a guy here, Paul, I mean, maybe you would like to contest the description given by that announcer. You got a guy here who just needs to be held back, and the guy's basically whispering it to a college audience.
Well, he is a student himself.
Yeah, I mean, do you want a career in this thing? Come on, hit it. Even if you exaggerate it, it sounds like a wrestling event is breaking out. And here's this guy. He's actually have to be held back. I'm so sorry to have to report this. Okay, Paul.
He didn't really need to do that.
He didn't. Why is he just not capitulating and sitting down like
None
a
of
good
this
boy?
is necessary.
Paul Hamilton on the West Her Hotline. Jarmo Kekalainen, the new GM of the Sabres. Paul, what did you like, not like? What did you think today?
Well, I liked a lot of what I heard, but, he also has to come through. It's his first day on the job. Of course, he was in Finland with the death of his father, and he had just gotten back to Buffalo. He met with the players, and then he met with the media, and he's, he knows how to be a GM. I mean, he's done it for 10 years with the Columbus Blue Jackets, so he knows what needs to be done. He knows what he likes in an organization. I do like the fact that he very quickly talked about there were games where this team thought it was going to be easy, and they lost because they got outworked, and that's unacceptable, and that's something they're going to focus on every day. And I would like to see that because I'm going to be quite honest with you. I heard that from Lindy Ruff, too, when he showed up, and I haven't seen it. A little bit. I saw a little bit last year, and then it's kind of ended. People are not being held accountable. They are not losing ice time, and it needs to happen because he's right. I mean, how many times have we watched games the last couple of years where this team stands up after the game and says, we got outworked? And very often it's against teams that they probably shouldn't be losing to. And I very much am curious to see how the general manager is going to take that and what he's going to do about it if he sees it.
Paul, we ended up our opening segment in a place where I made the observation that I thought maybe, I don't know for sure, maybe it was just him being absent-minded or not wanting to single anyone out. But I thought it was maybe notable that when Kekalainen was asked about what there is to like here roster-wise, I'm generalizing, but I think you understand the spirit of what I'm getting into here. I don't know word for word what he was asked, but he really didn't mention any players by name. Like the way that question was asked to him, I thought I'm going to hear about the captain and I'm going to hear about maybe Olympians, that might be on the Olympic team this year or whatever, and he just didn't name any names. And I felt like that might be serving notice that everyone's on trial.
Maybe, but he also said a couple of times he's not going to name names.
Okay.
He made it sound like, and he also said, when I asked him the question about being pretty straightforward, because I have asked people from around the NHL, and I think every single person I've asked that knows him say, you will know where you stand with this man. He will be face-to-face with you, and he will tell you exactly what he thinks, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach. And that's what he said. He goes, I'll either tell you face-to-face or I'm not going to say it. He goes, I'm not going to say it behind their backs. They're going to know, type of a thing. So I think, I don't think we're going to hear, just judging by that, and that was kind of a little bit of a theme in the press conference, I don't think we're going to hear a lot of individual evaluations coming from him, especially if they are good. I think he will leave that for face-to-face with the player or face-to-face with the coach.
Very well. The point you started with, work rate, and he talked about character a lot. As you know, there's not a lot that gets turned over with a roster this time of year. He didn't rule out a coaching change. Like everything will be evaluated here. Mm-hmm. Is it not a reasonable inference to think that what he was talking about, how his team plays, is something he thinks could be affected by a different voice in the room?
He could be, but I think, I would think maybe they did not practice today, so he might have had a meeting with Lindy Ruff after he spoke with us, or maybe he had a meeting with Lindy Ruff beforehand. But if he had a meeting with Lindy Ruff beforehand and was planning on making a change, I think we would have heard that. Sure. That evaluation, I would think, is going to become quickly. Mm-hmm. With coaches and assistant coaches. It may have already happened between the end of the press conference and now, since they probably were in the building. I know the assistant coaches were around because they had a skate with the players who haven't been practicing. So I know the assistant coaches were out on the ice for that. And usually even on a day off for the players, the coaches are there. So I would think whatever that evaluation might be may have already happened between the press conference and now. Was the
canceling of practice unexpected or unplanned?
I probably should have expected it. I mean, they got in very late. I think they left right after the game out in Seattle, so that would have gotten them home probably, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. So that basically shoots your Monday. And he may have wanted just to give a day to be with your family and do whatever, because there was a practice scheduled, and then there wasn't. Or they wanted this to be about the general manager and not be dragging players and coaches through it. And there's still time to practice tomorrow. I mean, they had a very long trip. So giving them 2 days off, basically Monday is. Well, you got in at 6 in the morning. You're probably going to sleep most of the day anyway. That's not really a day off.
Right. And they did come to the rink because he said he met with the team before this news conference. So whether they skated or not, they reported to work, I guess, is all I'm saying.
Right. And as I said, some of the guys who were, and even some of the regulars, not many, a couple, were on the ice, maybe haven't played or something like that. But it was basically a rehab skate for guys who have been injured. So. And Lindy Ruff would not be involved in that. That's not something. He's not involved in those skates, so you wouldn't see him on the ice. So, yeah, they're in the building, and I would be surprised if there was not a meeting, afterwards, positive or negative, whatever it might have been.
Right. What did you make of how proactive he sounded about the Tuck situation?
Yeah, I thought that this might be a refresher. It's like, okay. It's been put in the back burner. There's a reason for that. Probably because the Tuck side didn't like the way it was going. It didn't sound like there was a lot of animosity from either side, but it's just like, well, you know what? Alex has to start concentrating on the season. The season's not going well, and we think it's better if we just do that. So he said he's immediately going to be getting in contact with his agent and start talking with him and trying to find common ground, and it sounds like it's his baby now. I don't know if it was Adams' baby or not, because Adams hadn't spoken since before the season started and was not doing interviews. I don't know if that was a Terry decision, was rejected by the Tuck side, or if that was an Adams decision, and Terry doesn't want to move, or whatever it might have been. This is a new person who seems like he's going to be in charge of the negotiation, and he wants to get started on it.
Love to give my GM on a 5-year personal playoff drought a contract extension and then hide him from reporters. That's really a great sign. I mean, that's just like, do you want to own this or not?
I'm still in the disbelief category here. I'm more in, did we get it wrong? Did maybe we not have the contract right? I can't wrap my head around that when Kekalainen was signed as a senior advisor, you gave Adams a contract extension of a year. I can't wrap my mind, because the right move would have been fire him right then and there. The right move would have been fire him after the 13-game losing streak. And I can't wrap my mind at all around that he would get a 1-year contract extension in May.
Yeah.
Well, among other things, Adams, went for, so to speak, as the GM was he protected Pegula, and that's what most of the time guys will do in that job.
Do.
But
Welly does it. All the guys who've been fired along the way have done it. They all protect him.
Fair enough. That has value to the owner. There is a value in that, where if you say these things, which don't have to be untrue, then I can go back to my super yacht or just not have to face the same questions. And you would like some people in that role more than others. And Adams always came off, I think, for whatever else there is to say about his performance, as somebody he was a few times not quite combative, but he was defensive about Pegula having somewhat of a reputation for being detached. He's like, no. I thought it kind of backfired on him, Paul, but he would say no, he's in the
I
draft
talk to
room
him every day. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to hear that either. But okay, you're here to say he's involved, and that's something.
I felt, Paul, and Mike and I disagreed about this a little bit earlier, that the way Kekalainen spoke about having autonomy and spending to the cap was new, but I also might be numb from all the years of different guys maybe saying the same things, but I felt like Kekalainen very much was sort of, sure, he'll ask me questions and I'll have to answer them or words to that effect, but he didn't sound like he's going to be checking with Terry Pegula about everything.
Yeah, I have, with Mets on the team right now, I have them about $2.9 million away from the cap. I don't think that's a big deal.
Right.
I don't think that's a negative. They don't spend to the cap. And honestly, I know many of you disagreed with me. When they were $5-6 million last year, I didn't think that was a big deal last year either. If they were $13 million away, now I think it's a big deal. But I just, what I think is, if you tell me you didn't make a trade because of cap considerations, you didn't want to raise your cap, then I have a total red flag because of that. I never even heard a rumor of that they turned down a player because they didn't want to spend any more money against the cap. But this year, even more, I have them at $2.99 million away from the cap. I don't think that's a big deal at all.
So, Paul, I mean, in the big scheme of things, we obviously are not going to have much that will determine whether Kekalainen does a good job or not here in the short term. But in the short term, the air is fresh. Adams is out. And I think that was hanging over this team. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but in the short term, can you expect a refreshed team? I don't want to go too far here. But it's possible that they turn this road trip around once they caught wind of everything that we'd been hearing all last week. Is it possible that this is a fresh start for this group?
And don't you think Adams heard everything going on last week? I mean, I think he had to know this was coming. I know he was on the trip, but he had to know this was coming. I mean, come on. I mean, this isn't a stupid man. And Adams knows everything that's written and everything that's said about him. He's got rabbit ears when it comes to that kind of stuff. So he had to know it was coming. Plus, the part that Kekalainen played in the signing of Kuntar. It almost sounded like it was his signing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought to myself then, wait a minute, is he acting like the GM right now?
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thought. And I think maybe he was.
Everybody knew about this. Yeah. Tom Pelissero tweeted about it. No, just kidding. Everybody but the national hockey media knew about this. So there's a question to be asked there.
Yeah. So, I think he had to. It could not have been a surprise when he got home and was fired. It just couldn't have been.
Paul, thank you. We'll have a lot to talk about in the coming days. Next game Thursday night.
Yes, we will talk.
All right, that's our man Paul Hamilton on the Wester Hotline, and his appearance with us here on WGR are brought to you by Equitable Advisors. Planning for your future is about more than just money. Let Equitable be your guide, and by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this.
I did not expect a Woj bomb on the Sabres. He's not even in the business anymore, but it definitely was out there. People were talking. Ross Tucker, who did not, I think, tweet about this. He loves his Hershey Bears, though.
Mm-hmm. Right on the glass with his daughters.
Hockey-wise. We'll talk to Ross at 4, 15 minutes away. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog have been talking about the Sabres' big move. New GM Jarmo Kekalainen. Great name. Great name. Ross Tucker coming up at 4. The Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say exactly that the Sabres make me think of the Dolphins, but how do you feel today, or most of the time, when you go into a game sort of trusting the Dolphins? Like, this is, Pittsburgh is this, that, and the other thing. TJ Watt, they're not good.
No.
Miami beat Buffalo. Buffalo beat Pittsburgh.
Miami's one of the best running teams in the league.
Oh.
The Bills just ran all over them.
So obvious it should be the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And then it's 28-3 or something. I did something I almost never do.
What's that?
Turned off an NFL game.
Yeah, I bailed out.
I did not watch the second half.
I was
Too
invested.
pathetic.
I needed to keep Waddle under 11 points. I think that was our lead in fantasy. I saw him catch. It was in the fourth quarter, I believe. 28-3 is the score. So it's before Miami scored the 2 garbage time touchdowns they finished the game with.
Waller.
But Waddle caught a pass over the middle. I guess it was his second reception. It pushed him to 4 points, and he limped off the field. And I thought, he's done. I'm good. I'm home. I don't need to keep watching. I also bailed out right at that moment. I thought you kind of called it yesterday. Like he'll limp off the field, and he did with only 4 points. So we got home there. But I was watching earlier, and that he only threw the 1 pick. His numbers for the game aren't that rank really, because at the end he got the 2 touchdowns, completed 22 of 28 maybe were the numbers. So it was that pick was just like
he was throwing a heavy ball.
It's like quintessentially a play you watch and go like, I'm paying that guy how much? What? Like. He wasn't under tackle. Like there was a rusher coming. It's the NFL. There's always a rusher coming, but he had everything he needed to make a good throw there. And that ball was just in the air for like a year. Like, what are we doing here? And that's he can't throw it outside the numbers. He tried there, and that's why. Like, how do you feel stuck? You got to feel stuck if that's your guy. That is not getting any better.
It looks like he's throwing a bowling ball on that.
Yeah, it's so bad.
So hard.
Oh. Like it's a contest winner out there throwing that ball. I mean, it's just absurd how bad that was.
Well, what a great feeling. Not all losing bets are the same. What a great feeling to have had Miami. Oh yeah. I know ball.
Sooner or later, they got to win a cold weather game. They can do it.
This is the night. This is it.
Yep.
I know. You hate that. No ball.
Yeah,
I am a ball knower.
Let's talk
is that
ball.
better?
No, that's even worse.
I am a ball knower, and Miami is just due, and Pittsburgh is terrible, and this is easy.
Hey, let's chop it up and talk some ball. God, shoot me in the face.
I didn't say that. Ross Tucker next. I mean, if Ross were like Joe or Sam, he'd come at you with it right there.
Ross would be like, I want to chop it up and talk some ball. I'm a ball knower.
No, he would just say it to annoy you.
Yeah.
But I don't think he listens to us apart from when we're talking to him. Anyway, Ross next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Buffalo Sabres' newest general manager, Jarmo Kekalainen, did speak with the media earlier this morning, and while no other changes have been made, Kekalainen did go on to mention that everything will be looked at, including coaches. One of the other bigger storylines that was talked about on the Sabres has been the contract situation regarding Alex Tuch. Kekalainen also spoke on that and where he and the team sit on that front.
Alex is a really good hockey player. We appreciate him. We like him. We want to get him signed. I think that's been clear the whole time. Now we just have to agree on a number that works for both sides.
You can hear all of Kekalainen's comments with the media from this morning over on the Odyssey app or on our website, WGR550.com, and also at our website. Paul Hamilton has a piece on today and what we heard from the latest GM. Over in the NFL, following the loss last night, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel would not shut down the idea of a quarterback change, saying everything is on the table. And then the Rams, they are not ruling out wide receiver Devontae Adams for Thursday night after he picked up a hamstring injury on Sunday. In this holiday season, we're kicking off Mission Give Where You Live to benefit Buffalo City Mission, powered by NYSAG. Now through December 19th, you can donate brand new sweatshirts, sweatpants, hats, gloves, scarves, and non-perishable food items to help keep our community warm and fed. Just stop by any Dash's Market location and drop your donation in the Mission Give Where You Live donation bin. Want to donate online? You can also give through the Buffalo City Mission Amazon wish list. Sponsored by the Barnes Firm and Dash's Market. You can get all your details over at WGR550.com. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Bulldog, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
When do we ever talk about or think about them? That's this week. Browns week. Yeah. Have you thought about the Browns at all in a while?
A little.
When were they last even in Buffalo? This is not a game. This is a game in Cleveland, but it goes back to before Sean McDermott. The Browns have never been here since Sean McDermott. They had a game in Detroit because of snow.
Right.
They played the Browns in Detroit. And before that, is he here for that game? It's a long time ago. I'm not sure. Maybe he was, but I don't think Josh Allen has a home game in Buffalo against the Browns. But I not only welcome being corrected on that, I expect to be. That's the way things have been going. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, joined now on the West Her Hotline. By the way, fresh off a game involving a team that we probably also aren't talking about enough, Jacksonville. Odyssey NFL insider Ross Tucker. Insider calls are brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Ross, you told us last week you were going to be at Jets-Jaguars. Holy cow. What has gotten into Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence is like great again, or maybe for the first time great? Or is that more just the opponent? What do you think of Jacksonville, having seen them up, in person?
Well, first of all, I got a bunch of stories I could tell about a time when Cleveland was in Buffalo in 2004, if you're so inclined at some point. So that's number one. Number two, to answer the question you asked me directly, I think the Jaguars are pretty darn good. I really do. I mean, put this in perspective. In 4, they've won 5 in a row. In 4 of those, Trevor Lawrence has been able to watch Nick Mullins finish the game out for the Jags. I don't care who you're playing. These are NFL teams. If your starting quarterback is able to watch the end of 4 out of 5 games with a hat on and see the backup quarterback and the backups out there, that is super, super impressive in my mind, and bodes very well for the Jaguars moving forward.
This is what would be the first-round matchup for the Bills if the season were over. 3-6, Bills at Jaguars. What is Jacksonville compared with Houston for you, Ross? Like, I think everybody seems to be saying that Houston is scary with that defense and maybe what Stroud is. I don't know. I don't hear quite the same enthusiasm about the Jaguars, but who's a tougher out?
Well, there's 2 reasons for that. Actually, 3 reasons for that. One is the Texans have played more standalone or primetime games more recently that people have watched.
That's right.
Number
Arrowhead.
2 is the Texans have the best defense in the NFL. And number 3, they have a recent track record of some postseason success with a win each of the last 2 years, whereas the Jags have just been bad the last 2 years. And so nobody really believes in them. And Stroud probably had a better year his rookie year than Lawrence has ever had. So there's a lot that goes into that. But I'm just telling you, Jags have top 5 special teams, top 5 offense right now. Their defense is probably not there, but they're good. And they have a lot of belief. And I think through the draft and free agency, they've stockpiled a lot of talent in recent years. And they finally kind of have a coach that's helping them put it all together. And this is by far the best I've seen Trevor Lawrence play. I mean, he really, really looks comfortable, which is obviously, as you guys know, the biggest part of it.
Yeah, it makes sense that the coach, maybe it looked a little bumpy when he got there, at least to start the year. I liked how it sounded and read on paper in the spring and through the summer, some of the things he was saying about his philosophies and how he was going to run that offense. And the season began, and it just wasn't as smooth as maybe a lot of folks were expecting. But they did get off. I mean, they were 4-1, then they hit a lull there, got to 4-3, but now they sit here with the same record as the Bills. And I think Mike is right. It's a team that I just generally, I'm just going to be honest, they wear teal, and I tend to just dismiss them. I don't know. I have a blind spot when it comes to the Jaguars, even though they've kind of done a pretty good job on the Bills over the years. They beat them in 2 playoff games, the different eras, but still. I don't tend to think of them the same way. Plus, Houston did such a number on the Bills earlier this year that's the team that's sort of in our kitchen, I think.
There's definitely something there about sort of the recency still of the Jags and Panthers franchises, as well as the color scheme. I think there's some healthy skepticism about the color scheme of those franchises, right or wrong. But no, I mean they're pretty darn good, man, and they're under the radar, and they feel like very much a lack of respect. That's a sneaky, huge game, them against Denver on Sunday.
Can you imagine? Sorry, Ross. Can you imagine a better way to put that about a team's uniform than healthy skepticism?
Right.
How great is that? How great healthy skepticism. I gotta steal that and use that in all situations. Bills down 21-0 in New England. You had a game going on at the same time there, Ross, but did you think, I don't know, players don't, or even ex-players tend to not think games are over in the second quarter, hopefully, but what were your thoughts during their win?
Well, I thought they would make a run and at least make it interesting. I didn't think they would just lay down. I didn't think Josh would allow them to just lay down. But to come back and win is super impressive. I mean, I didn't get to do it, but I'd love to go back and see some of the social media posts from folks when they were down 21-0. I can only imagine what those were like. People probably deleting them furiously in the second half as the Bills just took over. Super impressive. I mean, not only for the opportunity to go ahead and win the division still, and have that possibility, but I think even more so just sort of the mentality, the psyche. That's 2 weeks in a row where they've had a massive comeback. Josh has kind of put on Superman's cape and led them, and I think that part of it bodes well for the postseason. I think the part that doesn't is getting off these bad starts and being down 2 scores like that. That's not good, but I think most people, when you look at the AFC, it feels like Josh Allen is probably still, I don't know if by far is the right word, but pretty clearly, the the best quarterback that will be in that. So, especially with the way Lamar Jackson's playing right now and it not looking like the Ravens will even make the playoffs, it's a golden opportunity for Buffalo, no question.
I had one tweet from Sunday that, like if you're looking to embarrass somebody, maybe you would single it out, but I'm not embarrassed by it, which was at 14-0 or maybe even 21-0, Ross, I tweeted, wow, something like this, like, wow, Bills, way to go in there and show them who's boss. I mean, this is they're the five-time defending division winner, and what a no-show in the first half. I mean, of course, they do come back and win, but still, like, I feel like that was fair to have so little in the way of resistance to a Patriots team that's kind of taken your throne. So it didn't end up working out for New England, which is great. It also, Bulldog wasn't in the end like that big of a game we talked about last week because New England still has a pretty good grip on the division.
I think it does, but Ross, you sort of alluded to it there, the psyche. Like I liked it all week going into the game. And of course the game did not start like the Bills shared this sentiment. But over my dead body, you're getting your T-shirts and your hats today. That was what I wanted. And they ended up doing exactly that. I mean, they fought back like hell and won the game with that big second half. I feel like, and Mike and I argued, I don't know, we discussed it a lot last week. It's very much a feelings game because in the standings, the Bills were still going to be well over 90% to make it to the playoffs. And even with the win, are still not in any kind of great shape to win the division. They still need the help of either the Jets or the Dolphins. Now the Dolphins are talking about benching Tua. I don't know, maybe that'll be a good thing. Who knows? But
Zach Wilson.
Either way, I thought it mattered. It mattered, I think, to the psyche of the organization to not let the Patriots party with them in the visiting locker room.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting one from the Patriots' perspective because on the one hand, now some doubt has crept in for the Patriots. Like, okay, maybe we aren't the big dogs yet. Maybe it's not necessarily our division yet. And if we get to a big game, home playoff game, maybe we're not ready to beat a team like the Bills and Josh Allen. I guess the flip side of that would be kind of something we've had when we talked about as it relates to the Chiefs and the Bills, which is kind of like, well, would you rather lose to them in this fashion now? And if you get to the playoffs, hope that they can't do it again, as opposed to, all right, you sweep them in the regular season, and then maybe the Bills are due third time's a charm. You can go round and round. I don't know if they play against each other in the playoffs, I don't know if what happened in either one of the regular season matchups means anything other than, the Bills will certainly believe and the Patriots will know, hey, these guys are not, even if we're up 21-0, it's not over. These guys are going to keep coming.
Ross Tucker with us on the West Her Hotline. Insider calls like this one are brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Not something that I do care about on my own, but I wonder if you might have a take on this. Mike Vrabel mentioning yesterday, the postmortem in this game that the Bills lead the league in holding, but they didn't get busted for it in this game, like implying directly that the Bills kind of got away with some stuff in this game. From whatever perspective you might care about here, like a player on his team, I don't know if a player on the Bills would care about this. Does that do anything? Like when I heard Vrabel say that, my first thought was he is setting up for the next game, the possible rematch with the Bills. Like he's this big imposing figure on the sideline. Maybe he thinks in different ways he can intimidate officials, but that's just one read here. Does it mean anything to you?
I don't know how I would feel about that unless I was actually in that situation. Because on the one hand, I would think maybe he is, trying to put that out there in case there's a rematch, and wants to make sure that becomes a storyline and is part of the narrative. if they face off against each other. It was not after the game. It was the next day. It was the next morning.
Right.
Clearly, and I know Vrabel well enough to know everything he does is very intentional. So there was certainly a purpose to that. It's like so many things. I could spin it and say that he is showing his players he has their back, and defending them on some level, that they got a raw deal. I could just as easily say, what happened to no excuses? What happened to, don't let be so good that the officials, can't determine the outcome and all the things that we believe in. I really would be curious to know what his internal messaging was and if he explained his thought process on more or less calling out the officials like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Are you ready to go on the 2004 meeting between the Bills and the Browns, which the Bills won 37-7, and you started in? Is this a story we know, Bulldog? Is something happening on the field?
I don't know.
I feel like it's vaguely familiar. What do you have on this?
Well, there's three things that are notable from the game, in my mind. The Browns had already fired, I think, Butch Davis. So I want to say Terry Rabisky was their interim head coach.
That sounds right.
And it might have been the first start for Luke McCown.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a rookie 6th-round pick or something. And let me just tell you, and they had a bunch of young offensive linemen starting, and Sam Adams and Pat Williams. Those were the wrong guys to go against for a rookie quarterback and young O-lineman. But what I remember about the game is we actually scrimmaged them at St. John Fisher during training camp. And so I had been pretty aggressive in that scrimmage. I might have speared a guy on the ground after I threw him on the ground. I remember Sam Weish, who I think is passed.
Yes.
When we went to meetings that night, Sam's like 70-something years old at this point. He comes up to me and says, my hero, because of what I had done. They come with a stunt. I threw the guy down, and then I speared him on the ground.
In a scrimmage.
Yeah, in the scrimmage. And so, needless to say, they remember that.
Yeah, right.
And they rememred that, and they must have shown it to him. Because, after the first play or two, they're pushing me after the play. And then it might have been, the last play of the series. One of the D tackles, I won't say his name, but he spit in my face. That actually happened twice that year. But he spit in my face. So we come out for the second series. And I didn't really know those guys that well. I hadn't played for Cleveland yet, but it's a TV timeout. And so they had pushed me a couple times late. They had spit in my face. So during the TV timeout, I very calmly walked over to their huddle, which doesn't happen that often. And I just said, hey, guys, I'm sick of it now. I'm going to break one of your legs on the next play. And then I walked back to the Bills huddle. And I kind of meant it. Like I kind of meant it. So we come out for the next play then after the TV timeout. I come up to the line of scrimmage, and Alvin McKinley, I think it was Kay Lang. That's what it was. I played with Kennard Lang in Washington, so he knew I kind of had a switch. So we break the huddle, and Kay Lang and McKinley are like, Talk, we're cool. It's over now, bro. It's over now. We're cool. It's over now. We're good.
Don't break my leg.
Yeah, because I think they knew, because, in a situation like that, if you say it, really calmly, I didn't go over and was like, I'm going to break one of your legs. I literally walked over there like a sales guy and was like customer service rep. Hey, guys. I hope you're having an enjoyable evening or enjoyable afternoon here in Buffalo. I'm kind of tired of it, so I'm going to break one of your legs on the next play and walk back to the huddle. So I remember that, and then we're killing them. And late in the game, I'm blocking the one guy. He makes absolutely no attempt whatsoever to make the tackle. Instead, he puts my arm in an arm bar and says, I'm going to break your mother effing arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, please, no, please, no, I'm sorry, no, please. And thankfully he didn't, but that's the same guy that had spit in my face earlier, and he had a screw loose. I mean, he's got to be in jail at this point if he's still alive. I have no idea, but
wow.
I needless to say, it looked like he knew how to break an arm like that, and I thought he was about to do it, and thankfully he didn't. Thankfully I pleaded my case. So three stories: the spitting in the face, I'm going to break your legs, and then I'm going to break your mother effing arm. That was a fun day.
I was at that game and had no idea it was that interesting. Ross, safe to say you had
to watch the line. You got to watch the line play.
I need to hear the line.
Right, that's it. Right.
Ross, safe to say you had a healthy skepticism over whether this guy would actually follow through on the threat.
I know where he's from. Like, I knew where he grew up, and I think he was really thinking about just armbar breaking my arm on the field like that.
Wow.
Which I was concerned about. I had legit concerns.
Yeah.
There's only a couple of times on a field where I was like, no, please, I'm sorry. And that was one of them.
The Raiders just put up 75 yards of offense against the Eagles on Sunday. In that game, the Browns mustered 26 yards of offense.
26 yards?
26 yards, -3 passing. Go find another game like that. That's what I do remember about that game is
That's unbelievable. That
crazy.
does not surprise me. I do not remember them moving the ball very much.
Credit to you. Thank you, Ross. We'll talk next week.
Sounds great. See you guys.
Ross Tucker.
That's our Odyssey NFL insider, Ross Tucker. Insider calls are brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
We will look for your calls next. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. 803-0550 on the Bills or the Sabres introduction of their new GM, Jarmo Kekalainen, earlier today. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
Jarmo Kekalainen spoke with the media for around a half hour this morning, and while no of the changes have officially been made, Kekalainen did go on to mention everything within the organization will be looked at, including coaches. One of, though, the biggest storylines for the Sabres throughout this season has been the contract situation regarding Alex Tuch. Kekalainen spoke on where he and the team sit on that front.
Alex is a really good hockey player. We appreciate him. We like him. We want to get him signed. I think that's been clear the whole time. Now we just have to agree on a number that works for both sides.
You can hear all of Jarmo Kekalainen's comments from earlier today with the media over on the Odyssey app or on our website, WGR550.com. And you can also get more on what was said this morning. Paul Hamilton has a piece also up at our website. Over to the NFL, following the loss last night, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel said earlier today they would not shut down the idea of a quarterback change, saying everything is on the table. The Rams not ruling out wide receiver Devontae Adams for their matchup on Thursday with Seattle. Adams picked up a hamstring injury on Sunday. And the Cardinals are ending the season for running back Bam Knight. They're placing him on IR due to an ankle injury. It's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
We're going to evaluate everything moving forward, whether it's the scouting staff, management, coaches. Everybody is under evaluation at this point, but there are a lot of good people here that are great at their jobs.
Was that Jarmo? I was talking to Bulldog about food. Or about cooking more than it was about food. It was a ploy to get you to buy food.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what this is.
Yep.
Jarmo Kekalainen. Always fun today, especially cool, I think, the conversation with Ross. A healthy skepticism about the Jaguars' uniforms. And also the Texans. I'm not sure I would...
No, the Panthers.
Oh, the Panthers.
Their expansion brothers, the colors are questionable, I think.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There are times when you could convince me like that's a real thing and they should just overhaul it, like the Browns. You see the Browns, and it's just been like 50 years of mediocrity almost. I mean, how about a blue helmet?
Well, maybe the uniform is the only thing you can still like about them. I know it's kind of sad, but
I don't know the first thing about this exact thing, but putting the uniform on, does it inspire you? I think if you're 70, it might.
Mm-hmm.
Not many of these guys are 70.
No,
so
not
I don't
usually. No, even Phillip Rivers isn't that old.
Not even Phillip Rivers. I admit there was a time during the Bills' drought when I thought, you know what, just gut the whole thing. Change the colors, change the name, change everything about them. You want to get players to play for you, like now we do this with the Sabres. You want to get players to play for you. Try to trick them into thinking you're somebody new,
or at least reposition.
Just rebrand it. Just like companies do. They rebrand. It's just like, all right, we're going to go by a different name now. And
the Bills did do that very early in the drought.
They changed. They tweaked.
Yeah.
They tweaked. They didn't really change that much, but they put some light blue in there and that little panel.
I think that was more than a tweak.
Okay, but it wasn't going from like brown and orange to blue.
They did not change their primary colors. No, they did not.
Becoming the Cleveland Blues.
But did you see Tennessee's uniforms on Sunday?
I might not have.
I do not know how you can take yourself seriously as a professional sports organization playing pro football, no less, wearing that gear.
That's what I'm saying.
They look ridiculous.
My wife last night said that she liked, just out of nowhere, that she liked the Steelers uniforms.
The all black thing they were wearing last night?
Yes, and I immediately went and bought one to wear so that she'll look at me. I think maybe if she likes the clothes make the man, Bulldog.
Let me know how that works out for you.
I went ahead and bought an entire Steelers uniform for myself. I wasn't sure what name to get on the back.
I don't have any yellow stripes, but I'm wearing all black today. I mean, I'm in that mode.
You're not really going for it, though.
No, that's right.
Tucker is with us. From Ross Tucker to Tucker Tucker. Hello.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for calling.
Thanks. I know you guys are talking about uniforms, so sorry to switch it up. But
it's okay. We went to you for a reason.
I wanted to talk about Dawson Knox a little bit. Kind of just give him his flowers. I know he's been here for a number of years, and his usage at the beginning of his career was definitely a lot more under Brian Dable, and then it seems like he got forgotten about a little bit once Dorsey took over and even Joe Brady, and now I know they're finally starting to use him again. But just for sticking around and, still believing in himself, I just want to give some flowers to him for still operating at a high level this year. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just think he's been playing good, and I don't know why we kind of forgot about him for the past couple of years.
Well, they drafted a guy they liked better as a pass catcher with a first-round pick, and then they'd already paid Knox when they did that, and that, that'll turn a lot of people sour on you. So I think that's really it. I don't think there's anything personal about it at all. I don't have anything against him, but I think he's pretty vastly overpaid. It's nice to see him making plays. They need all the help they can get in their passing game, so it's good. He's in the right place at the right time here.
Yes, 3 catches against New England. 2 for touchdowns. Thanks, Tucker. Here's Bob next on WGR.
Good afternoon, guys. I do like the Kekalainen move. I'm a little skeptical of how much he can really change. You see in the NFL, like the Patriots in one off season there, for 30 minutes on Sunday, they're the best team in the NFL. You can't really do that in the NHL level. So I'm a little skeptical. It's kind of cool to be even thinking about Sabres hockey after Thanksgiving for once. It's been a couple of years since I've really even thought about this team after Thanksgiving.
Look what it takes.
In the press conference that really struck a chord was he's talking about the 5 to 8 year window to develop players. And we've had a lot of prospects. I think the Hockey News had us rated number 1 in prospect pool going back to like 23, I guess. And it's just going to be interesting to see if we're just a few pieces away. And it kind of makes me want to take a second look at a kid like Isaac Roseanne. Even Owen Power's a young player. I don't think Dahlin was a great player right away. So we might actually have some good young players that are kind of getting into that window that he talked about, and I'm kind of anxious to see if he's going to keep adding to that window. I don't want to overpay for Alex Tuck, and I think that he's kind of a little outside that window. So I'm looking to see the team get a little bit older and get closer to that, that 8-year mark. Thanks, guys.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder what the lineup. I mean, I really feel like there is an opportunity here to go blank slate. I mean, there are limitations always, no move clauses, who's under contract, who's not. I mean, you just have a very hard time in any pro sport, but especially in a league where all the contracts are guaranteed, just like sitting guys down that are making lots of money just because you don't like how they back checked or something. Like it's hard. It's a reason why players often get away with that sort of stuff on this team and lots of teams. I mean, not everybody is 100 miles an hour every night. It just isn't really functionally possible, I don't think, physically or emotionally. But with that said, yeah, like what are there guys here? Like when he's talking about games earlier this year where just to put it in easy terms here, where he perceived his team as coasting, right? Not giving enough, not trying hard enough, character lacking, effort lacking. Are there guys that he's got in mind that are going to get yanked out of the lineup in place of a Roseanne or an Osland, who's already playing anyway? But like, maybe we'll see a kid line here.
I think that's a fine question. I think the bigger question is, will he see himself as having the authority to decide that? Is that going to be up to him now? Who plays?
Right, that's a tricky
right. And if he's got, I think you got to keep your eyes on this, because if he's got concerns about the work rate and character and things like this, I mean, there's more than half the season to go. And he even said it, like, they don't think they're dead. He doesn't think they're dead. Like, there's urgency with this. I think, to give Pegula perhaps some credit, it happened now, not like after the season. So what does that mean to what you're saying? If he wants Trevor Kuntar on the team, as he probably did a week ago when he was just out of watching him play for Rochester, well, he got it, and he went in. He played 5 minutes.
And then went back to Rochester. Right.
I mean, but he got what he wanted there. Not only did he get him on the roster, if that was his, effort primarily, he got him on the ice. So that's, I think, the next thing to find out here is, and that won't be easy. You won't get a direct answer on that. Like if he wants certain players on the ice and others not, I guess he could take them off the team. He could waive guys.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's got full autonomy to do that, it might get really interesting here. Or, you see a big move. You see somebody that he's just not a fan of get traded for pennies on the dollar, maybe, if he wants to sort of make a statement. And I don't know, like that might not go over badly if he does that. So how much power does he wish to yield here? Does he have power over the lineup?
I don't think he really should. He's got power over who's on the roster, and that impacts the lineup. But, yeah, I mean, if Lindy wants, whatever, any of these players here, that's the coach's call.
But if he disagrees with a couple of important things, though, with how Thompson is used or any other decisions that Ruff is, normally making.
The way you do that is you just get the player out of here.
You get Ruff out of here.
Or
you get a coach that will do it what you want.
Sure, there's that. Or you remove the player. If you think this player is a problem, however high up the lineup, you think somebody is a problem. This is why we don't compete every night. This is why we don't win. I've watched 3 months of this guy. I got enough information. He might act on that. And that could be anybody.
And Ruff might not agree with that because he's playing whoever the player is.
Right.
So whatever that can be, I think you have a problem with your coach. If you want to come in and sort of create a new vision for all this, then, coaches are pretty replaceable. I feel like Jarmo will need to... We did end up calling Darcy all the time, right? Every time I think of him, I'm just saying Jarmo, and I probably should call him by his last name. I just feel like that is probably bubbling here. That from what he said today and that this happened, and he wasn't just in any department. Yeah, we're okay. Coaches.
Right, everything's being looked at, right?
And it's go time. I mean, the timing of it, I think necessarily means that. And I don't know. Everybody seemed to know last week that Adams was going to be out. I don't know anything about Ruff. But it just sort of, I think, is trending that way.
There was a lot of the chatter that I had access to. I never had anything solid enough to do what Tim and Matt eventually did with The Athletic on Friday, but the Ruff bumping upstairs after taking over coaching the team was like a footnote in the Adams is getting fired thing. So I don't know if that ever was right. Maybe that's still in the offing. Like maybe Kekalainen has there. I used his last name for you.
Good.
Maybe he has already a plan that he didn't want to announce or unveil today. It's possible that it's something. I mean, that's pretty notable. Not surprising, but still notable. He's talking about conversations he had with Pagula over the weekend. Before he went away, I think, to tend to his father, I think he was talking about this job, which tells you all the stuff that was in the wind last week. Pagula's talking to this guy as his new GM while Adams hasn't been fired yet.
Shades of Doug Whaley.
So, yeah, I mean, that was going on. And maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff that they talked about that's like he might want to do. Like maybe they feel like Lindy might be a better asset not behind the bench. At this point. And, but maybe he's going to fall into some sort of hockey ops role that will support Kekalainen. I don't know.
I will just say sort of in maybe a regrettable blanket statement about this guy, go do whatever you want. If your heart's in it and you've got big ideas, I mean, what would fans really object to? He's not crazy, this guy. Like, he has enough credibility where you would think that you can believe in whatever moves he wants to make. Probably. I guess, show me one, and then I'll decide after that. But I think the fans want action. And the
detonation?
No, defibrillator. Is that the
okay.
word I
Sure.
wanted?
Yeah,
I'm not literally doing the move.
Yeah.
Get the heart pumping again, just like defibrillator. Might be the first time I've ever said that word. And you could tell it didn't come easy.
No, it was a chore. Yeah.
803-0550, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Big fans of the phone. Welcome back. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Lots to talk about with the Sabres and their new GM, plus also the Bills in their playoff race. We got into it with Ross Tucker a little bit, who just saw Jacksonville up close. That team at the moment is the Bills' first-round opponent. Of course, there's 3 weeks to go, but that's the 3-6 in the AFC, Buffalo at Jacksonville. You probably could think of worse first-round matchups. Due respect.
Agree. Yes.
Any ones you like more that are conceivable?
Pittsburgh to me is still
Pittsburgh,
the easiest mark in the whole playoff pool.
We'll get back to it. Here's Matt with us. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I wanted to get to this yesterday. I saw something on the Chiefs game, assuming you caught the tail end of it. Something funny you guys noticed. After Mahomes got hurt, that wasn't funny, but it was when Minshew threw the interception. And I think they showed like the in the hunt screen. And then off to the side of that, you could see the Jumbotron and Arrowhead, and it was like crowd noise, like, let's go. Like it was trying to pump the crowd up, and they just lost the game.
Right.
Like, stupid. Like, okay, read the room, operator.
Right. Right. We've talked about that. How like whoever's in charge of that needs to, have a better finger on the pulse of what's going on in the actual game. Right. Right. Let's hear it, Chiefs fans.
The worst.
Mahomes is in an ambulance.
The worst.
It's horrible.
What are we doing here? Right.
I'm checking in from the bullpen, by the way. And then I wanted to talk about the Sabres, Yarmo, obviously. He said all the things I kind of wanted to say yesterday, too, today about, like, he has full autonomy and the deals he wants to make, whatever, signing talk, all that. He's probably got about 6 or 7 decisions to make right up front. And you've got power situation, can we get behind, anything with him? And then Byram, who hasn't had the strongest year and has a pretty tradable contract, I would say. And I think they did that on purpose. But, he a lot of teams see value in him. So I wonder if they're going to try and, like Yarmo's just going to do some blockbuster stuff once he gets settled down from the personal.
Let's hope. Thanks, Matt. Let's hope. Byram is one of the more egregious Sabres developments of the last couple of years. Trading for him in the first place, I can see, because you're just hoping, and Middlestat isn't working out for you. But they wanted to trade him in the offseason. They even mostly admitted it. Like the way they were talking about him was going into the deadline last year, in typical Adams fashion, couldn't or didn't do it. And then he gets paid, like, just so bad. I mean, so bad on different levels. If Kekalainen, he's Ristolainen now almost. Like if Kekalainen can trade him, good. He should want to do that immediately, depending on what you get, but just not a useful player. He gets minutes, and it's dragging him down, and it was for the last 2 years, and just it should not be any surprise to anybody. Move on. If you can do it, move on. You want to comment on that before I just sort of go to break, because you might not agree with any or all of that. But
I don't think he's useless. But I would move him in a second, and I agree with the caller. I think he will have value. He's young and moves really well.
Good.
And I think you should be able to do all right in that trade, and it shouldn't hurt you too bad.
Yeah, just a terrible job by the Sabres when it comes to him.
I mean, Kekalainen has been described as heavily analytically based, like in his work. So I don't think there's not going to be any mystery to me if he comes out not in favor of Byram being a part of this moving forward.
Thanks, Matt. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
This morning, he did speak with the media, and one of the things talked about was while there are no other changes officially having been made as of now, Kekalainen did go on to mention that everything will be looked at, including coaches. One of the biggest storylines, though, following the Sabres throughout the year has been the contract situation regarding Alex Tuch. Kekalainen also spoke on that, talking about where he and the team sit on that front.
Alex is a really good hockey player. We appreciate him. We like him. We want to get him signed. I think that's been clear the whole time. Now we just have to agree on a number that works for both sides.
You can hear all of Jarmo Kekalainen's comments with the media from earlier today on the Odyssey app or on our website, WGR550.com. Paul Hamilton also has a piece on today up at our website as well. To the NFL, following last night's loss, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel would not rule out the idea of changing a quarterback near the end of the season, saying everything is on the table. The Rams would not rule out wide receiver Davante Adams, who did pick up an injury on Sunday, a hamstring injury. They will take on Seattle on Thursday. And the Cardinals are placing running back Bam Knight on IR due to an ankle injury, thus ending his season. And this holiday season, we are kicking off the Mission Give Where You Live to benefit Buffalo City Mission, powered by NYSAG. Now through December 19th, you can donate brand new sweatshirts, sweatpants, hats, gloves, scarves, and non-perishable food items to help keep our community warm and fed. Just stop by any Dash Market location and drop your donation in the Mission Give Where You Live donation bin. Want to donate online? You can do that through the Buffalo City Mission Amazon wish list. And this is sponsored by the Barnes Firm and Dash's Market. Get all your details at WGR550.com. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp.
We were having a very serious conversation about mayonnaise here.
And the Bulldog.
And don't even talk to me about weed.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Everything's coming to a conclusion for the Bills in this regular season and eventually the playoffs. I mean, we got a little bit, hopefully more like 2, but a month left. 1 to 2 months to go. Did you watch?
That's a big difference.
It is a big difference. It's all the difference.
It's a big month.
It's the whole difference.
It's everything. That month is everything.
And the Sabres news has people talking, like whether this is exciting. Is it arrows up for the Sabres? Is it just another thing? 803-0550 for your calls. The change at GM, of course, I mean. Sorry, everybody, I'll keep this short. Bulldog, do you remember watching Super Bowl 7? Miami's undefeated season. You would have been like 6, maybe. No?
No, nothing springs to mind.
Today was the date of the game.
Wow.
December 16th.
Yeah.
1973 would have been the date of Super Bowl 7, I believe. It used to be over.
Yeah.
By now. So that college football could have its bowl season.
Oh, sure.
You know?
It's clear out of the way. Yeah.
We didn't need any NFL.
14-game season. Yeah, that
14-game season.
That small playoff pool.
Right. 4 teams per conference.
Right. There
was one wild card.
One wild card on each side.
Right. So the 72, I said I would keep it short, 72 AFC playoffs would be undefeated Miami, Cleveland, I think would have been the wild card, Pittsburgh, and Oakland. And that's the Immaculate Reception in the divisional round. Cleveland gave Miami a game but lost. And the AFC Championship went to Pittsburgh, even though Miami was unbeaten, because they rotated it by division. So, and there are no 2 weeks in between games or anything either. So,
and they could win a game in the cold, these Dolphins?
In Pittsburgh, they did. They had a great fake punt in this game. They also didn't win by very much, but that was their thing.
So 72
season.
72 but it was December, so it still would have been 72.
December 72, of course.
Yeah,
right.
You're in the habit of doing that with football because that's how it usually goes.
That's right. I didn't need to push it a year.
It still is December of 72.
That's right.
Right.
Miami, Washington. Oh, such a sucker play the Dolphins right? Sam said this on his show last week because they like the Dolphins. Maybe this was even yesterday morning. They like the Dolphins on Bet Sweats last night. But he said something like, you know that it's possible. You're going to sit down for this game and watch Tua attempt one pass where you could see his breath and go like, oh my God, I have got to change my life entirely.
Right.
Why did I do that?
Right.
Why would I ever have backed this?
I got to the game right around the time he threw that pick. I was watching a hockey game. I was just kind of hanging out, just doing stuff, making dinner or whatever. And so I wasn't paying attention. I'm like, oh, it's time for the game. Let me get to the game. Whoa! And I had Miami. Like, whatever. I wasn't super optimistic, but I had them on the money line, just, Buster theory, whatever. Build up a thing that'll pay a lot if it hits. And of course, nothing hit. And that two of the pass, the interception he throws is just so rank. It's just so. It is the kind of play. If that's your quarterback and you're going to be trying to see your way forward with him, you are never going to be able to forget that pass.
I have to stop you, and I hope you go back to where you were going, but I made a mistake. This was the anniversary of their last regular season game that year. The Super Bowl was in January.
Okay.
And there were 2 weeks between the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl, for what it's worth. So, sorry, please, everybody, hear me say this. This is the anniversary of the Dolphins clinching the undefeated regular season.
I accept your apology.
Forget about the bowl games.
Right.
All the other theories.
They were still playing the playoffs into January.
January 14th, 1973.
No February.
No, never. That we know.
We're like a month later now, but,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, you were saying on Tua?
Yeah, Tua. That pass, that is, you're just never going to forget it. You anytime you're going to be with your friends, you like the Dolphins for some reason. God bless y'all, right? And you're in a bar, you're whatever, you're at your fantasy draft. You're like, I don't know, I think he can maybe still. He's had some good years in the league, and someone's just going to pull that interception up on their phone. And you're like, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, we're toast. I can't back this guy. I mean, it's one throw, I know, but it was just so meek and representative of everything that you think, when you think negatively or think the worst about him and them, there it is. It's cold out. You're still alive. You need this game. You're not playing against some, immovable object team here. It's the 500-ish Steelers. All right, just come on. Just pick it up. We can do it. What was that?
I mean...
What was that? What am I doing here? No, this is never going to work. Ever going to work. Just a terrible,
they are on that list of teams with quarterback dilemmas,
yes,
then, right?
They are.
They were already.
Yes, they are.
But they're down 28-3 last night to the Steelers. I mean, one play, but they're down 28-3. MVS, one of the great Bills, with a touchdown reception.
That game was very tough to watch. Rodgers is insufferable during games. Of course the network, the TV cameras are going to find him. And he's got something to say about everything. Anything that goes wrong, there's always some kind of a fit to be thrown. I don't even know. They didn't follow up on it. They didn't keep the camera on him. He walks over during a timeout late in the first half. And looks like he is barking at somebody. I'm like, who is he? Is he talking to Arthur Smith? Who is he talking to with that face? But they never showed it, and they just panned away. He's got to be very tough to play with, I think.
Who do you think it was?
I guess it would have been the coordinator. There was some frustration about plays getting in, and he's always doing this. I'm doing it for the cameras, come on, come on. Right? It's just somebody always turns the wrong way. It's he's modern day Marino, yeah, without the isotoners. It's just so bad. The whole vibe of that game was just.
I told you I turned it off. I never turned it off.
Just a bunch of posers. I'm watching a bunch of fake teams. You're not doing anything this year. What are you doing here? Your uniforms look good. The end zones look great. I'll give you that, Pittsburgh. Man, the rest of it was tough.
Well, Miami. So today, Mike McDaniel didn't close the door on benching Tua. They have 3 games left. They're 6-8. They're out of it officially. The Bills might need Miami to beat New England.
I know.
And in New England, is that going to be Zach Wilson?
Could be.
I mean, we don't want that.
That's what today. No, we don't.
We want Tua to throw that pass in the cold in Foxborough then in 3 weeks.
And maybe have it actually go well. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little torn. Maybe your name here, no pressure guy, Zach Wilson, hits a couple throws. I don't know. Or go Jets.
Brady Cook.
Whew. Yeah, that took a hit
Jets. The Jets are going to the bottom. You know they want to. That's Brady Cook. I mean, they're not trying to beat anybody. Coach is probably safe. Right now, it's the Raiders and the Giants at the top of the list for the number one pick, but we know that can change. We saw that last year.
Yeah, they're both 2-12. The Raiders, the Titans, and the Giants are all 2-12.
Yeah, but the Jets, I mean, top 5 pick, new quarterback.
Yep.
They need that. They need to stop winning. Did they start? Who did they beat recently? Like, oh, great. Atlanta, right? I think, did they beat Atlanta a couple of weeks ago? Anyway.
They won a game recently,
They
yes.
should have no interest in winning any games.
I remember who it was against.
And the Bills either need them to beat New England at home, if you want it, or have Miami do it. Miami is not that far down in the standings, but come on the road. That's what the Bills need, one of those results at least to win the AFC East. Not lining up great.
No.
Let's go to Michael here. Hi, Michael.
Hey, guys. So I wanted to open the floor to the idea that maybe the new kickoff rules and in combination with how good kickers have gotten, and there's like conversation about how they changed the protocol for kicking balls. It just feels like, especially after watching the way the Seahawks game ended, and albeit that's not the only example at all, it just sometimes feels too easy to get points. Like, we have these drives at the end of games, at the end of halves, where, you know, the return is out to the 30-plus, and then there's, you know, one 20-ish to 25-ish yard pass or between two plays, and then all of a sudden they're kicking a field goal. It just seems like, as much as special teams matters, I think sometimes we've seen them impact or change the outcome of games a little bit more than I feel like they should. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but Seahawks game made me think about it.
I like that you brought this up. It's not something I might have thought to bring up on its own, but it is interesting right now. Here is what I would I think probably the data supports your take on this, Michael. The prediction I might make at this point in time about where this goes next is not that they change the kickoff rule again. I mean, you know they don't want to keep changing the rules. It's already very confusing, and, you know, you have landing zone and all these different
lands in the landing zone, but gets to the end zone. That's a different yard line. There's just too much.
It can be the 20, it can be the 35, it can be the 40.
Right.
Oh, but if there's a penalty and they kick off from a different yard line, then there's another one. I don't know. Like, I still have to kind of guess at it when I'm watching. I don't know, like, instantly what is going to happen. So they want to get away from having to change that all again. I think they probably think that it's really working because you are getting exciting kickoff plays. Mm-hmm. So I think, that on top of the default position that you don't want to keep changing your rules, all of that means they're not going to change anything, I predict, with the kickoffs. Maybe there are a couple of loopholes that they might close, but really, fundamentally, they're not going to change. Right. You're not going to see it look different. I wonder if the next thing is the goalposts.
I knew I was waiting. I was hoping you weren't going to say goalposts because that was what I was going to say.
Okay.
But fine, we're thinking the same way here. And I don't think it'll be right after this year. I think they'll give this. I think what the caller is suggesting will probably be borne out significantly enough by data that percentage of drives ending in scores, the amount of field goals kicked after only getting one first down following a kickoff, something along those lines will be studied. And maybe within a couple of years, I'll say. I don't think it's something that will be imminently discussed, like it's changing this spring. But yeah, that's the next. You got to make it harder for the kicker. The kicker is going to be capable of kicking it from 60 comfortably, maybe even pushing to 70. Like, guys are not going to get weaker. They're going to get better at it. They're going to keep working to hit longer and longer field goals because the value of having that guy is going to be further enhanced the longer we have the rule structure. So yeah, the goalpost narrowing by a foot or something is maybe a thing that ends up on the table.
Yeah, I think that's next. Watch Aubrey on Sunday night.
Yeah.
He doesn't even look like he even swings his leg.
I know.
He's just sort of, it's a wedge.
Yeah.
It's a wedge in golf that he just puts 55 yards down the middle.
I'm really noticing that also on the kickoffs.
Definitely.
When you know, because the guys aren't trying to boom it out of the end zone anymore. So it just looks like a very casual play now for the kickers. It's sort of like
it's a wedge shot.
I'm gonna, I don't want to put everything on this. I'm just gonna pop it down there, hope to land it at the 3.
It's a 75-yard golf shot. Well, it's almost that distance actually in football, but it's like what is it? 60 yards in football. That's where they're kicking it.
Yeah,
about 60 yards. Yeah. That's like a 60-yard golf shot where you don't take the full wind up.
I've got a 50-yard club. I've got a 100-yard club. I don't have a 60-yard club.
Right.
I got to figure out how to hit that. Right.
And 3/4.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. And when they overhit it, we had that a couple times on Sunday. Both teams.
Yep.
The kickers, I think they would say overhit it, and team started from the 35. All right, thanks, Michael. Here's Christian next. Hi, Christian.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Me and my buddies in our Sabres group chat today, obviously with Kekalainen coming in, the question of Lindy and the whole evaluation of the coaching staff, and the question of the alumni game came up, and I guess we looked it up, and it's January 15th.
The alumni game, you mean the game where all the guys from 06, 07, 05, 06 are all coming back, right? They're not playing a game, but they're coming. Yes, right. Gotcha.
Correct. And just the potential awkwardness, I guess, with, I don't know, that whole situation. And if Lindy gets fired, is he not allowed to come? Just your thoughts on that situation, I guess.
Okay.
Could that be something that would matter to ownership?
Yeah.
That they have that game in a month in terms of Lindy? He would still work there, probably.
Yeah.
The rumor is I
think if he gets
isn't coaching.
moved, I don't think Jarmo Kekalainen is going to just put Lindy Ruff out at the curb. My guess would be, and this lines up with, again, there was a lot of stuff in the wind all week last week. Obviously the big nuts of it turned out to be correct, that Adams was getting fired. There was, early in the week, there was some counter stuff that, Adams is going to go upstairs, nobody's going to like it. But that didn't happen. He's out of the organization. Lindy going upstairs, I think, is still something I was hearing last week attached to Adams getting fired. That wouldn't surprise me if it happened. So I don't think if he's not coaching, I'm not anticipating there being an awkward situation where he's not in the organization anymore. That's not to say it couldn't happen. I mean, Jarmo Kekalainen, if he's got autonomy, maybe he'll, have reason. Maybe he's observed enough and doesn't like it. I don't know, but
sounded like it.
Just not what I've been hearing. So I'm not anticipating there being a problem there.
Yeah, I felt like what I heard today was that he's not completely on board with how this team is being coached. So he wants different levels of effort and character and stuff. You can't just change the whole roster immediately. I wonder if coaching changes might be afoot. Those watching, I did this. I put my arms up. Know why?
I was watching. No, why?
Badgley.
Curling? Had to be curling. So the only thing, because there's not...
I am watching curling, too, but...
Wow,
Badgley.
You got to make friends with someone in the bullpen, because someone here just in the chat said Michael Badgley in the bullpen chat. You've got fans?
It's reported. It's happening.
Yeah.
The Bills are signing him.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Called it. That's what all the fantasy obsession is good for, is that when a Bills kicker gets hurt, I got a name immediately because I know who the kickers are that have been cut. Michael Badgley signed to the practice squad, says Tom Pelissero. Matt Prater is out, and so Badgley is probably next man up.
Good call by you.
I mean, if he's going to be signed to the practice squad, he's probably going to kick Sunday because nobody else. Unless you want to do an amazing thing, just let Ray Davis kick off and then no kicking after that.
Nah.
We're going for 2. We're going for first down.
If the game goes
You're the
a certain
Browns.
way, I'll let them kick extra points.
Even
if I'm up by 20.
Sure.
You know,
like a preseason game.
Yeah, right. Like he did.
You're the Browns.
Yeah, right.
Don't have a kicker.
Yeah, he's their kicker. Yeah, they'll
kicker.
elevate him until Prater's healthy. Like Prater's not
Right.
supposed to be out for the year or anything, at least at this point. So they'll hope to get through a week or two with Badgley, elevate him. They've got 3 elevations. They've got 3 games left.
This guy's probably the same thing. Prater did well.
Yeah, he did.
Badgley missed 3 extra points, I believe, this year for Indianapolis, and 1 field goal, and they cut him to go with. I was here bragging about what I knew about kickers. Schrader, I think, is maybe their kicker. Spencer Schrader.
I don't know. You want me to find out for you?
I feel like cutting Badgley was bad luck.
I can get their depth chart
because
quickly.
they've lost their last 4 games.
Yeah, well, clearly it's cost them. There's no question about that at this point. Their kicker is who? Where is it?
Spencer Schrader?
No, Blake Group.
Blake Groupie, right. And he made a 60-yard field goal that you watched on Sunday in Seattle to give them the lead. He was with the Saints. So that's relatively new.
Yeah.
Groupie. That's right. Great name, Groupie. Badgley, the money badger, is now a Bill.
That's what we got there? Okay.
Detroit, kicked for the Bears maybe also. Anyway. Wish I could have bet it. Chargers, Titans, Colts, Bears, Lions, Colts in 8 seasons. Bills now, Badgley. 803-0550, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Looking for certainly interesting Bills takes and also your reaction to the Sabres move. It's a big one. Will it turn out to have been big? We'll look for your calls again after the update here on WGR.
With the punters and kickers this year.
Badgley might be available. Was it the Rams? The Colts. Colts dumped him. The Rams had a guy too. They moved on from Carty. So there are a couple names.
Well, yeah.
for
I mean,
you.
at this point of the season, you're looking for someone with proven experience. You're not looking for the next hot young leg.
Sure.
Maybe you have some potential here. This is, right the ship until Prater hopefully can come back, or someone we've seen hopefully kicks in the postseason, but at least has a proven track record in the league.
All right. Put me down as guessing Badgley or
The Buffalo Sabres introduced their 10th GM in franchise history, Jarmo Kekalainen, earlier this morning. He did speak with the media, and while no other major change has been made, Kekalainen did go on to mention that everyone in the organization will be looked at. That includes coaches. And then one of the biggest storylines to be following the Sabres since the offseason has been the contract situation regarding Alex Tuch. Kekalainen spoke on where he and the team sit on that front.
Alex is a really good hockey player. We appreciate him. We like him. We want to get him signed. I think that's been clear the whole time. Now we just have to agree on a number that works for both sides.
There was also a roster move made today by the Sabres. Isak Rozan being sent back down to Rochester, and the team is going to be back in action on Thursday against Philadelphia. To the Bills, they did make a roster move as well. They are reportedly signing veteran kicker Michael Badgley to the practice squad. This does come after yesterday when it was announced that Matt Prater is going to be week to week with a quad injury. Then some other notes in the NFL following the loss last night. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel would not shut down the idea of a quarterback change, saying everything is on the table. And the Cardinals are placing running back Bam Knight on IR, thus ending his season due to an ankle injury. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Caller 5 now at 716-221-4WGR. That's 4947. Wins a $100 gift card to the Woodhouse Spa, Main Street in Williamsville. This holiday, give her the one thing she really wants. I would love this too. Time for herself with a Woodhouse Spa package or gift card. Bulldog, you are not eligible.
That's too bad.
So don't even call.
I could use a little
say it.
TLC, a little self-care.
We
all could.
Any Buck or Aikman stuff last night bother you?
No, I love them.
I had one.
I did notice wide open. We talked about this last week. Buck used to be the biggest offender in that. Burkhardt is now taken over. It must be the Fox #1 chair that does it to you.
They want you to say wide open all the time?
I guess.
Is that a mandate?
It's a Fox thing. Yeah, fair and balanced. I don't know. So I don't even really notice that anymore more with him, and I didn't ever really pay super close attention to the game.
Okay. I had one that I wrote out the tweet and then deleted it. Sort of like rolled my eyes at myself. I really don't need to every week pick on something that's said. Mm-hmm. But Troy Aikman called Jalen Waddle as fun to watch as any receiver in football. Imagine saying that. Like, have you really thought about that? He's tied for first in this category in the whole league.
Yeah, that's tough. That's overstatement is what that is.
What receiver for you would be the most fun to watch in the league?
Oh, well, that's easy. Keon Coleman.
Well, okay.
No.
This is like a Hollywood Squares answer. Has the show ever sounded older? In the Hollywood Squares, they would give a joke answer, and then they'd play the laugh track, and they'd come back with the real answer?
I really do like watching CeeDee Lamb.
Okay, good. So not Jalen Waddle?
No. I'm not a fan. Pickens can be incredibly fun to watch. But the downside with him, there's just too much of it. And it's even reared its head a little bit this year.
I mean, it has recently.
And so, I don't know. I think he'll still get a monster contract somewhere because teams are always making those bets. But I think I would be a no on him. I just don't trust him. And at that kind of commitment, like it can sting if if it gets rocky. Lamb would be close to an answer. I don't feel like I watched Jefferson enough. Oh, no. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Uh-huh.
It's St. Brown. The legend grows. I mean, he was questionable to play. A lot of the wind was 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago, prime time. The wind's blowing like he's not going to play, and he plays and just goes off. He's fun. He seems to me very much like the receiver. If you get mad with the Bills passing game, this happened to me in my house After the Miami game, maybe. I don't know. Like, I get done with post game. The Bills had a terrible time trying to find their passing game. Could have been any one of these games where they struggled like that in one of these losses. And I walk downstairs. The Lions are on. And as soon as I walk downstairs, there's just an easy, like, Goff drops back and throws like a 12-yard pass to St. Brown, who's open enough. I won't say wide open, but he's open, and it just looks so easy. And my wife said something because I'm complaining. The Bills can't. Their passing game, it's incredible. Allen's so good. They don't have guys like this guy. It's just one little example, but I like watching him a lot.
I like that choice. I wrote down 4 names, and his was one. So if you want me to pick one, I will.
All right.
Of the 4. Gene, I went with Adam Thielen. No, not even Gene. To be Peter Marshall. Mm-hmm. With Adam Thielen. No, I did not pick Adam Thielen, although for a time he was. He might have been my answer.
Oh, yeah.
7 years ago. I wrote down 4 names. Now you've got, this is interesting to me because you have guys that are like Jefferson and Chase.
It's not who's best. It's who's most fun to watch.
Right. There are guys like that are just, they seem perfect.
Yeah.
They don't drop the ball. They're open. They're fast. They're big. Like, they're perfect. St. Brown isn't quite perfect. Like, he isn't a burner, but he is tough. My favorite guys are all, like, tough guys. Mike Evans, I would say, where comes right, just like St. Brown did. He was supposed to miss the game, and he went 8 for 90 against Dallas. Evans comes right back, and he has a big night. Like, that guy, he just has been super consistent and productive his whole career. Like, that's what St. Brown aspires to be.
It took this injury-riddled season, and he's had other injuries, but this is his first year under he won't get to 1,000 yards.
I don't think he can, right?
Right. I don't think it's possible.
So, Evans, St. Brown, Devontae Adams is this with tons of touchdowns. Like, Devontae Adams, who we were different on him in his early years when it looked like maybe he was bad. And then he just became this force. And he's been so good for so long. And I think maybe I want to pick for this, my number 1 would be Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I don't
just doesn't have
that. Yeah.
He doesn't have the quarterback, like he's put up 1,000-yard seasons anyway for the Jets, which is kind of insane. But he does everything. He is tough like this. And his hands and body control are just like absolute 10 out of 10 for me. So, next time we talk to Matt Harmon, I wonder who he would say is his favorite receiver to watch. Maybe I'll just ask him. Somebody who should it be? Technique is there. Diggs was on this level.
Diggs was a lot of fun to watch.
So much fun. And he wasn't big, so how he was doing it was even like more a credit to him.
You knew he was a craftsman. Like the route running, the feet, like just all the ways that he created space for himself was technique.
Anybody else you want to mention here? Neighbors is great like this, although he's been out a long time for the Giants.
I like that you mentioned Adams. I did like him pretty early in Green Bay. And he's not super fast, right? But he's so long and just I do like watching him play.
He had a touchdown catch 2 games ago where the pass was low, like almost to his feet and a little bit behind him, and he just never broke stride, reached down and caught the ball with no issues, just down back here.
Yeah.
Just so good.
No, I don't think I have anyone else. I just haven't sat and watched. Like, I know, Ibuka sounds like a really fun player, but I haven't really watched a game where he went off. Same for Smith and Jigba in Seattle. Like, I know he's prolific, but I don't see it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say I've sat with it and gone like, wow, this guy. I see highlights.
You can see him Thursday night.
Yeah. I do, it's funny. I like both of the Lions guys because I like that Jamison Williams too.
Oh yeah,
I think he is fun, and I just some of these guys. I notice this especially with like Lamb and Pickens, the amount of time they must spend on their socks and their wristbands and like neckwear. Like they are there's style points that they are achieving that I don't even know where the scorecard is, but they're working on something. Like they got a gear thing that is, I think, pretty dialed in.
I like Jamison Williams here too. The proverbial, perhaps, genie not going back in the bottle player right now because he's exploding for them. This would be J-Mo, if you're like trying to sound hip at your dinner table tonight.
Yeah.
Or you go by what he prefers, Waymo.
Waymo.
Because he wants the ball way more.
I figured that's what that was.
Jamison Williams. Yeah. Try that on.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. If you missed Jarmo Kekalainen's introductory news conference as the Sabres GM today, we will have that for you coming up at the top of the hour. We have not forgotten about or completely abandoned reverse AFC power rankings. It has been 3 weeks. We would have done them today as it is Tuesday, but didn't because of the Sabres news and thought that was probably a more appropriate, debatable way to start the show. So we will probably jump into that right away tomorrow, unless something else
Unless the Sabres make
happens.
another big move, or the Bills sign someone besides Michael Badgley.
Michael Badgley, so...
No, Marquez, or Alan Lazard is out there.
Yes, I mean...
Just
Pittsburgh?
Whatever, you're throwing every claim you can in on guys, so I don't know. I just thought I'd mention Alan Lazard got cut today.
I get it. I get it. Bill's life is somewhat finding out whenever we do whether McCole Hardman is ready to play.
Right.
That's
right.
That's kind of how it is. Badgley's wearing 32.
All right. That works.
Does it?
Sure.
Why? How? Well, how? In what way does it work to have the kicker on the Bills wear number 32?
I like a kicker and an oddball number. That's all.
All right.
And I like 32. I mean, not. I wasn't thinking about the Bills so much. My kid wore 32 when he played.
Okay, well then it's all right. So that's your reason. That's
32
fine.
does have a certain history with the Bills, though. That's right. Although he's not the first. Some special teamer wore it a couple years ago.
Though there might have been a few guys, at least a couple, one or two. Yeah. There was a running back that was the first to do it. Oh, I can look that up. Who was it? It was kind of a story.
Yeah.
When it happened that they gave away 32 for the first time. So here's what you do. You go, I know this is at least how you do it on the hockey reference. Bills franchise, and then there it is, uniform numbers. And they should have a list of players for every number. They do. So I'm typing in, for some reason, 7 comes up. 32. And Sonoris Perry.
Okay.
Is the player I was thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
And the player you're thinking of is Nicholas Morrow.
Okay. Linebacker.
Last year.
Yeah.
Other than that, no one since OJ until Sonoris Perry.
I appreciate you giving me credit for thinking of Morrow. I was thinking of the running back, too, and it was just further back than I thought it was.
Okay.
That's all.
Sonoris Perry?
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Nicholas Morrow, but he was here and did wear that number. That's right.
Rob Ray.
Right.
Also.
That's why I always kind of liked that my son was wearing 32. He said it was because Shaq wore it early in his career. That's why he chose 32.
Shaq wore 32 for the Lakers, but I think 33.
Oh, 33, right.
For
So
the
he
Magic?
switched to 32 with the Lakers because of Kareem.
Kareem.
That's whatever. Owen liked that Shaq wore it. So it wasn't early in his career. It was later.
Shaq switched from 33 to 32 because of Kareem. And Sally and When Harry Met Sally had those days of the week underpants, but they didn't make Sunday because of God.
I see.
Somehow that's what I thought of. Maybe it's like Rob Reiner on my mind or something.
Yeah, it could be.
That's what I thought of. Bulldog, quick one. I've been following your career, and I love when you talk about your family.
Oh boy.
And running around, playing golf, and bicycling, and all those exciting things, and the speeding ticket. I love all your stories. Quick, am I still on?
Is too much.
Quick question. Can you hear me?
Sorry, we gotta go.
Quick question.
Is that how you hung up on Pagula? Sorry, we gotta go.
Gotta go, Terry.
Sorry, we gotta go. All right, sorry.
Gotta go, Terry. I think I said his name.
We gotta go, Terry. All right.
Gotta go, Terry.
All right.
But I didn't know it was him.
Right.
And as he said, when next we met, how could you have? Which, thank you. Right. I never even thought of it. Possibly being the owner of the Bills and Sabres. Or maybe just the Sabres at the time when that happened.
I think that's right.
He called the hobby. His wife put him up to it. She thought it would be funny to have him be my last caller because they were listening, and she heard me say this was my last show. And she thought, this would be kind of cool if you're his last caller. And he brought up the name. You know who he brought up? His favorite player as a kid.
I don't remember now.
Terry Pagula's favorite football player growing up. Joe Schmidt.
Okay.
Lions linebacker. Funny that the Ralph Wilson and then Terry would both have like Lions roots. I had a quick, sorry, you got me going there. A quick fantasy question.
Sure, yeah.
If I have Devontae Adams on Thursday night,
don't you dare. Don't play him.
If he's active, I'm not playing Devontae Adams?
There is no way he's going to get through that game. Did you see the play he got hurt on?
No, but I heard it was bad, and he probably won't play.
Yeah. If he's active, I would fear that is just going to be like first series, like, oh, well, he tried.
Well, this isn't the question I was going to ask, but this is better than my question.
Yeah.
You can't bench Devontae Adams if he's active, I say. Could you bench St. Brown against Dallas when he was active because he wasn't supposed to play either? High ankle or whatever that was in the Green Bay, the Thanksgiving game? Hopefully not. And Evans, Sal was all nervous about Evans last week. That was also Thursday night.
We've gotten away with it 2 times in a row. The third time is not going to be the charm. I wouldn't trust it. But anyway.
Curious what they'll do. It's a big game.
Yeah.
Rams at Seahawks, but they'll be in the playoffs. Maybe they play it safe with him.
I would, if I cared about the Rams, and I guess I do a little. I like Stafford a lot, and we just talked about Adams. I would protect him at all costs.
Jarmo Kekalainen, the new Sabres GM, met with the media earlier today. We'll hear what he has to say after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.